keeping broilers has a couple of challenges. I know that. That is why I have been avoiding them this whole time. I keep all other birds. Okay, not all of them, but specifically, I don't keep broilers. However, of late, the circumstances have made the decision for me, and we are keeping the broilers. But the only way that I'm doing them is if I get a system that works. So before I start, let me just share my ideal plan, and then we'll see if that works. Alright, when I moved out to check on a couple of people to find out whether they would buy what I wanted to raise, the birds or the eggs if I chose to do layers, this was a couple of years back, I did understand that one of the main challenges for the people who buy was inconsistency in supply. Sometimes they have a tremendous, abundant supply of product, many eggs or many birds, and then other times they are in scarcity. So the one single request that I did pick that they wanted me to address, if at all I chose to participate in whichever sort of farming, whether it's keeping egg-laying chicken or broilers, they wanted to be a consistent supplier. So when it comes to broilers, I do want to make a system that supplies consistently. For the start, I hope to be supplying every 2 weeks. But if things go well, maybe I'll be supplying every week. What that would mean, I would have to buy chicks every 2 weeks at the start and then raise them and see how it works. Secondly, I need to figure out, together with the caretaker, and develop a system on how to grow well these birds without making significant losses. Now, I don't need a big lot of birds in order to do that. We are going to start with few birds, and once we have the key things in place, we could hopefully be able to scale up without having any major challenges. If at all we make a mistake, we shall make smaller losses because we are dealing with smaller numbers. So the number that we are going to start with strictly is 100 birds. So we shall buy 100 birds every 2 weeks and then rear them well, leading us into the Christmas season. The timing right now is right, because if we do this well, we shall reach the peak period during the Christmas season when there is a very big demand for broiler chicken. Yes, but there are some challenges that I have that I had to ignore. One, I'm up country and we don't have electricity. So now I have to use solar for that. But we are in a rainy season. The last few months towards Christmas are in the rainy season, and that means we may not have enough sunshine. I'm not very sure if the solar will provide enough lighting for the birds to feed throughout the night. But we shall find that out in the next weeks. And every week we are going to be measuring their weight to see if we are meeting the weekly targets of weight gain. The other challenge that we have is market. I understand I'm a little bit off the main road, so getting people to come all the way from the center to here to come and pick birds may be quite a challenge, but we'll find that out. Since I'm dealing with smaller numbers, hopefully that can help me test the project and see if it works. If it does, well and good. If it doesn't, guys, it has to work. The other issue is to do with fluctuation of feed, but we shall see if we can store that. Now that I have shared this, you don't know the amount of pressure that is on me to make it work. But wait, in a few weeks, I will be giving you an update. For now, let's first check out the shelter and how we are preparing it, check out how we are putting up the solar and to organize all these things, and we see if it works. So using a shelter that is walled with brick is good in a rainy season because the chicks will be warm, but once they grow, the aeration may be limited because one end is closed. The structure I'm using is actually right behind me. It's essentially a store, a farm store. So one end has a very big door that I can open for aeration, but then the other side of the wall, which should be open, is closed. And you can see it in the background with that small louver, essentially, for air to go through. May not be as sufficient, but to compensate for that, I have to ensure that the floor has a thick layer of mulch that I should put. Ideally, it should be about 15 centimeters thick. That thick, about a foot. That is a lot, and I may not afford to buy it. But since I have bracharia grass, I can use that, which is dried, to make most of the centimeters, and then the topmost part, I use wood shavings for that. I think that would save my costs. That's one. The issue with most of the poultry rearing, the pricing is fixed and is determined by the market. So it is relatively unflexible. I can't change. I cannot just increase how much I will sell the chicken once it's mature. What I can change though is the cost of input. For example, the money I spend on feed, or generally the cost of production, I could find ways of reducing it. The second way of me saving the cost is by buying food while it's still cheap and stocking it. I have space where I can store, and I hope that that works. I do understand that storage is tricky and there can be rats, there can be predators that can destroy what you have stored, or even mold can actually attack and maybe mess up or spoil the feed. But let us see how that goes. My aim is to ensure that I buy while it's cheap and store it so that it can take me through the period when the prices go up. I think now we have everything in place. Come on, guys, subscribe and you'll get the updates as they roll in. For now, I need your prayers. See you guys.